Hi, I'm Stephanie Trachtenberg, Director of Marketing PR for Satisfyer. Satisfyer is a well-known sexual wellness brand focused on delivering access to sexual wellness with innovative products, but all at accessible price points. And we really work to break down the taboos around the category and really focus the conversation on the host of mental, emotional, and physical benefits for sexual wellness, and really think of it as a lifestyle product to incorporate into your daily must-haves to live your best life. And I'll let Megwin take over and just talk a bit about what we try to promote here at Satisfyer.
Yeah, we are really focused on helping to bridge education to consumers, especially when they might have barriers to entry into this type of product. There's so many health benefits to orgasm. And a lot of that comes from the feel-good factors, the feel-good hormones that get released during orgasm. You have oxytocin, which is basically a bonding hormone. It helps us to feel more connected to others. And it also helps with relaxation. So even supports things like sleep. And then you have dopamine, which is, very, very important for all types of learning because it's basically a motivating neurotransmitter and a chemical messenger within the brain. So it's very vital to all sorts of learning. And then serotonin, which is incredibly important for mood balancing. And a lot of people that suffer from depression actually have a lack of serotonin in the body. As well. And so lastly, the other thing to mention is that orgasms actually can help with the reduction of pain via the endorphins that get released, which act with the opiate receptors in the brain. So those are just a couple of the different key benefits. There's actually a lot more, which we can, maybe touch upon later. But those are the ones that I really like to highlight.
And you guys talk about, obviously last year we saw your product at CES, not last year before last. We saw your product at CES. Have you made any improvements to its design, its functionalities over the last year and a half or year?
Yeah, for sure. Happy to take that one. So we did preview the Satisfyer Connect app at CES 2020 in beta, but it wasn't on the market yet. And we have since brought the Satisfyer Connect to market, and that's what brought us the award, the Innovation Award from CES. We won for the Satisfyer Connect app and for our Love Triangle product, which is app-enabled. So the Satisfyer Connect app is now really a value add that we brought to innovate our products, but again, without adjusting the price point. So a lot of times when you bring innovation, the price goes up and maybe the best tech isn't there because it's all about marketing, but really our Satisfyer Connect app is meant to be a multi-sensory experience that is a much more creative opportunity to be more in touch with your pleasure, with your partner's pleasure, and to explore things like audio, sensory inputs, remote connection around the world. And we have the best technology now with our Satisfyer Connect app and with this new ecosystem of products. So that's what brought us the award this year. And then our Love Triangle is certainly an innovation of our AirPulse technology with new features. So if you want to talk more about the Love Triangle specifically, Megwin can take you through, or I can also take you through some of the app features.
Yeah, can you guys talk about exactly, for people who are unaware of what your products do? I mean, I think it revolves around, female pleasure and sexual stuff like that. Could you kind of give a brief overview of the products you offer for people who are unaware of what you guys do?
Yeah, well, we have products really for everyone, and there's a lot of different functionalities within the range of products, but probably best to highlight the AirPulse technology, and that's actually part of the Love Triangle. So basically, what this does is it works with pressure waves to indirectly stimulate the tip of the clitoris, also known as the clitoral glands. And this is actually a model of the entire clitoris, which is actually also an internal organ. And it's arterial, it has erectile tissues. And essentially what this does is because it's stimulating it with a much more subtle approach, it helps to actually draw the clitoris out of its shell and actually activate those internal tissues to arouse the body in very quick time, much more easy, because typically in order to arouse those tissues, you have to use different kinds of touch points. There's a combination of different factors that go along with it, but this just happens to be a really efficient method. Yeah, so that's kind of just sort of the foundation. And of course, we have products that incorporate vibration, which also the love triangle includes. And so within this particular context, the vibration would be felt around the perimeter of the ring. And that kind of increases the sensations and the sensitivity and the blood flow. And you can use this also in other areas. You can even target areas like the nipples or other parts of the vulva. So it has a lot of different application possibilities.
Is it, being specifically talking the United States market, being a woman has its own challenges in today's society, and you guys make a lot of, I guess what is considered taboo in a lot of industries, sex appeal and stuff like that, sex devices. Is it difficult to market devices or get to show people the devices or try to explain and educate people in this matter about how these are benefit to physical and mental health? Like, what are some of the challenges that provide your company with that, and both
Sure.
both the app and just in general?
Yeah, happy to cover this one for you. It's certainly a challenge. I think, you may know we're limited in terms of traditional social media marketing. We can't, put media behind any of our posts. Everything is sort of organic and social. We do have media partnerships with some outlets where we know we can reach our audience. But I think through working with our Caplow agency, our wonderful PR agency, we're really working to change the conversation so that it's not taboo. And that's why we have Megwin always focusing on the health benefits and the wellness benefits. And specifically for us, we're really careful not to call it a sex toy. We don't call it a toy because it's not something just for fun, for play that you can take it or leave it. We really try to always ground the conversation in the lifestyle benefits that Megwin talked about before. And certainly since being at CES last year when we were first at the table, the conversation has changed. Being at CES has definitely given people permission and a sort of safe space to talk about it, to talk about what I'll call sex tech now, which is different from where we were before. And even in terms of the media and marketing messages that we have now out there, it's not so much about what's that best toy to get you off. It's more about how you can really use these tools and incorporate into your life, use them as ways to connect with your partner, to really change the conversation so it's not so taboo. And I would say we've actually made a lot of great progress there. And now here we are at CES with 2 awards. The only winner for the first in sexual wellness with 2 from CES. So it's certainly another game changer for us and for the category at large.
Megan, what are some of the challenges when just trying to educate the public on the benefits of these things for women and men? Like it's got to be an equally challenging experience to do that, to educate people and stuff like this.
Yeah, it can be challenging. I think obviously a lot of it has to do with shame and people not feeling like they can talk about this type of thing. I think one of the first things that we've really tried to focus on is really educating people on sexual anatomy, on understanding how sexual anatomy interacts with the brain and kind of keying into some of these benefits. And we have seen that people have tended to really lean more into curiosity once they see that there's science behind it. And we're not just talking about sexual fantasies or, positions. We're really talking about how you can incorporate this, as a tool for resetting your body, as a way to ground or to reduce anxiety. I think that, the tragedy of this year also has kind of catalyzed a lot more, interest in how people can use these types of devices to help deal with a lot of the stress that they're experiencing. So I have noticed like a really big shift, in particular with this year, like a lot more media outlets are really curious to understand those benefits. But I think, there's a lack of education. So I would say that that's like the biggest barrier, the biggest challenge. But I think, like, as Stephanie mentioned, we're definitely making headway with that.
Can you guys talk about like the app and all its function? It has a lot of utility and function. Can you guys go into a little detail about that?
All right, I'll take you through some of the features here. So first, the first slide here represents live controls. So this means when you are, as soon as you connect your Satisfier to your Android or your Apple device, it immediately becomes a remote control for your Satisfier. And then you can actually isolate the different motors. There's 2 independent motors, for example, for an item like our curvy or our love triangle, where you can see the blue line is the air pulse and the red is vibration. So with using haptic touch, you can adjust the intensity and the experience. You can draw on screen what you want the sensation to feel like. Which again certainly brings some more self-reflection in terms of your pleasure versus just opening up your product and here's these 10 settings, go, which just so you know, our products do work out of the box without the app. But then the second screen is a great example of how once you have once you're connected to the app, you have a host of other programs available to you. So Big Fun, Hammer, if you love those, you can then also adjust them in the moment, save them for later. And then you can, as I said, you can draw new programs and save them. So it really is a nice, creative, and more reflective way to experience. And then on the third, you can take those little patterns and extend them into a longer form program. If you wanted to develop a half an hour session for yourself, if you felt like, it was part of your meditation and you wanted to use that, or if you were connecting with your partner and you wanted to plan out a session, or if you're someone who is, enjoying the self-care benefits and you need like a quick 1-minute routine, you can fine tune that by, really honing in on what's going to work and get you there and save that and leverage that on a, as needed basis. You can always come back to whatever you've created. The next slide represents how once you've connected with another user, if you have an individual username or someone who has the Satisfier app, you don't even need a product actually. As long as one person has the product, you can start a video and text messaging exchange, a video call, and then you can actually take over control of your partner's device or swap control or sync control. And that works around the world, and our app works in over 30 languages, including Klingon. So the accessibility, there's no reason anybody can't connect and enjoy a partner on the other side of the world or universe. And then the last 2 speak to music and sound. As I think I mentioned, this is really meant to be a multi-sensory experience because there's so much that goes into your pleasure and your body when you're receptive to these types of sensations. So that second to last one there, that blue line, if I were speaking right now and my Satisfier were on, that would represent my voice. So you can take external ambient sounds and turn them into sensations. So now fast forward a year from now, we're all in Vegas and we're going out to a concert and we have wearable technology. You can imagine that experience would be a whole new different level now. And it could be a really great way to send audio messages back and forth with your partner. And then the last one is a great feature. You can actually, through the Satisfier Connect, sync directly with your Spotify music playlist or your music library, and that converts sounds into sensations. And you can always adjust the controls, which is really great. So it's a really creative and expressive way to enjoy your pleasure, like that's never been done before. And I'll just mention lastly, one of the great features is in the top right of each screen, you might see there's a little icon with a battery life notice. So you will always know the battery of your Satisfier when it's connected to your device. So you never have that disappointing moment of getting started and then finding out your battery is dead. So you can connect with multiple Satisfiers and your catalog and just pivot to another one if the battery is dead. But so here we've really created a much more introspective experience, a personalized experience, and it's really intuitive as you move through the app to explore all the different features. So now we've had this whole ecosystem of products from Satisfier where we're adding this value through pretty much every product we're coming out now this year. Will have this added value as long as we can keep the price point down. Our love triangle, for example, is only $50, and most of our price points are $50 or under. So accessibility, even with the innovation, is really a core tenet to our brand.
Is it difficult to get certain stores or places to carry your products? I mean, obviously, are you guys on Amazon, like that kind of stuff?
We are on Amazon. We are in pretty much every adult channel store, boutique, chain, franchise. We have global distribution. I would say Satisfyer is pretty well known in the industry, actually. On our Pro 2, which we built some foundational success on a few years ago, is actually the #1 globally selling sexual wellness item.
So can you guys go into some more detail about you have a variety of products. Obviously you've talked about the Love Triangle. Talk a little about the Pro 2 and some other products that are available if people are interested.
Sure. Megwin, do you want to take this one?
Sure. Yeah, we have quite a few different products. I'm looking for my Pro 2. I'll start with the Pro 2 because it's our #1 selling hero product. This actually only has the air pulse technology, and it was launched around 2016. It's very practical, easy to use, and also has a bit more of a weighted head. We also have rings recently launched, a number of C rings, and this is a really amazing product for anyone with a penis, and it really helps to sustain erections. It also enhances sensations. We also have a range of products for couples specifically, so they have a lot of multifunctional usage. You can use them around various points, various erogenous zones, and we have things like lay-ons, which are similar to bullets that you can kind of key into very specific areas. And then this, coming year, we're also going to be launching products that incorporate heat, incorporate electrostimulation, and also prostate-specific products, which I think is going to be really exciting, and also wearables, which is going to be really fun, especially with the app. So it's a kind of a big range of products. Yeah.
You guys mentioned you're a global brand. What are the challenges in managing a global brand? Because like I've mentioned before, promoting this stuff or marketing this stuff in the EU is a lot different than having to do it in North America. Like, what are some of the challenges when it comes to that as a company?
Yeah, for sure. We are a global company, and our headquarters is in Germany. So a lot of all the product development is in Germany. And I think what we do then from there, from a marketing strategy, is really, we're all on the same page in terms of the brand essence and the imagery and the general messaging. But I think specifically for the North and South America markets, we have more of an educational focus, because we have in our country some very specific set of shames and taboos that we've carried with baggage and for the years. And the Me Too movement certainly started to change the conversation for women specifically. So I think that is a very market specific nuance. And as the markets evolve around the country, around the world, some are more focused on non-binary language, more gender fluidity. So it's something we're hyper focused on in our market. While our counterparts in the EU may not be as focused on it, it still comes back to the core tenets of our brand, that we are accessible for all, and our product range at the end of the day is for all, even though the messaging may be slightly tweaked. Even in my marketing communications, the way I speak to an audience that is very fully engaged in the category is going to be different from how we would speak to a mainstream lifestyle website. So it's really just adapting the messaging, but the strategy in terms of the inclusive product range and innovation applies across the board.
And I think that because, like Megan said, you focus so much on the science of it all, like the educational part of it, which is really the core purpose, is how you develop these things to begin with. It's not just, oh, this might be fun, let's make this. It's how does this data translate to this, and how can we make that work in this? And I think that's what makes you stand out among other people that are in the same industry.
Yes, thank you for that.
Well, that's great, you guys. So where can people find more information about your products?
They can visit satisfyer.com or follow us on social, satisfyer.com.